Okay friends, welcome to Login Science. In today's video, we are going to solve a question from May-June 2022. Okay, the question is from paper 1. It's question 1 from DBE. Okay, so we are going to do a bit of algebra. You are going to need to know how to solve equations and inequalities. Okay, so this is the question. It's question 1 from May-June 2022 past exam paper. Okay, you can see these are the questions. You can see the total is 26 marks. Okay, so we start with 1.1. Let me get the question again. This is the question 1 from May-June 2022. Okay, you have 1.1 solve for x, and you have 1.1.1. You have to solve for x. You are given x squared plus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. You can see. Okay, you have to solve for x. Okay, let me put the question here. So this can be solved by getting two pairs of brackets like this. You have two pairs of brackets like this. This is equal to 0, and you have x squared there, so you have x times x. Now you have to get two numbers. When you multiply those two numbers, you must get negative 15, and when you add those two numbers, you must get plus 2. Okay, so you can use 3 times 5. Okay, you know that 3 times 5 is 15, and from 3 and 5 you can get 2. When you say 5 minus 3, okay, you can get 2. So you have 3 and 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Now you need to get the middle term, which is plus 2. Okay, so you are going to have minus there, so that you can have 5 minus 3, right? So, and plus here. You know that 5 minus 3 will give you 2. Okay, and so from here you know that x is equal to 3 when you solve this part. Okay, or x is equal to negative 5, right, when you solve this part. Okay, so this is the solution. Always make sure you check your answers. You have to check your answers if they are valid. Okay, so let's move on. Now 1.1.2, you have this is an equation. You are given 5x squared minus x minus 9 is equal to 0. You have to get your answer correct to 2 decimal places, and the question is 3 marks. When they ask you to get your answer correct to 2 decimal places, what you have to do is to just use the quadratic formula. So this is the quadratic formula. You are given it on the information sheet. Use it because they are telling you to get your answer correct to 2 decimal places. Just go ahead and use the quadratic formula. Okay, so x is equal to this. Now you know that this is your a, and your b is negative 1, your c is negative 9. Okay, a is 5, b is negative 1, c is negative 9. Okay, so after plugging these values inside the quadratic formula, you have x is equal to this. Okay, you can see your b is negative 1. There's negative 1 there. You have b squared there, negative 1 square, right? Negative 1 square minus 4a, your a is 5, 4ac, your c is negative 9. You can see over 2a. 2 times a, your a is 5. So you have a, b, and c. Okay, and you carry on. X is equal to, you have minus 1. Okay, minus 1. This is 1 plus or negative, and this is equal to, use your calculator. I have my emulator. I'm going to use it. Okay, so you have square root of, you have negative 1 square minus 4 in bracket, you have 5, and you have times negative 9 in bracket. This is equal to square root of 181. You can see square root of 181. Okay, so this is square root of 181 over 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, and you carry on. X is equal to, use your calculator again. I'm going to use my emulator. You have this 1 plus or minus. Okay, so let me use plus first, and then I'm going to use minus after. So you have plus square root of 181 over 10. Okay, and you press this to get your answer in decimal. So you have to get your answer correct to 2 decimal places. This will be 1.45. Okay, right? When you round off correct to 2 decimal places, this is 1.45. Okay, or x is equal to, now you are going to use minus. After using plus, you are going to change it to minus. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to delete the plus and put minus. And what is the answer? The answer is negative 1.25. You can see that. 1.25, negative 1.25, correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, so this is what you get. Now let's carry on. I'm going to have a line here. Okay, and now it's 1.1.3. You are given this x squared less than or equal to 3x. Okay, less than or equal to 3x. You have to solve for x. Let me close this for now. Okay, this is x squared. You take this to the left. This is minus 3x. Okay, less than or equal to 0. You now have 0 on the right side. Okay, you carry on. You can factorize x outside of the bracket. You can see you have x there and x there. So x is common in both terms. So you take x outside of the bracket, you open the bracket, you now have x inside, because you know x times x will give you x squared minus 3. Okay, you close your bracket. You know that x times negative 3 will give you negative 3x. Okay, and this is less than or equal to 0. Okay, now from here you have to get your critical values. Okay, critical values. Okay, so what are the critical values? You have to get your critical values after factorization. After you have this, these are the values of x which will make this inequality equal to 0. Okay, you can see x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 3 when you solve. Okay, so the critical values are x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 3. These are the values that will make this inequality equal to 0. These values, when you plug them in there, you are going to make this inequality equal to 0. And we call these critical values. Okay, so these are the critical values. Now from here you get your number line. This is the number line. And then you have to locate your critical values on the number line. So you have 0 and 3. There's 0 and there's 3. So you have a closed circle there and a closed circle there at 0 and 3. Why do you have closed circle instead of open circle? Because you know you have an equal sign there. This means that 0 and 3 are included in this inequality. And you have to show that using closed circle. You have closed circle there. You can see closed circle, not open circle. You have to use closed circle to show that 0 and 3 are included in this inequality. Okay, so now from here, you have 3 intervals. You can see that the critical values are dividing the number line into 3 intervals. You can see these intervals. Before 0, you have these intervals, and between 0 and 3, you have these intervals, and after 3, you have these intervals. Now from here, what you have to do is to test your intervals. You have to know whether they are positive or negative, these intervals. So you are going to use any value before 0 or any value less than 0 to test this interval. So you can use negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Any value which is less than 0, use it to test this interval. Let me use negative 3 to test this interval and see if the answer is going to be a positive or a negative answer. So you can do this mentally. Let me use a calculator to show that quickly. So I'm using negative 3. I'm going to plug negative 3 wherever you have x. Okay, so you have negative 3 there. You open your bracket, you have negative 3 there. You can do this mentally. You don't need to use a calculator. All you have to get is the sign, not the number. Okay, so you can see you have 18, which is a positive answer. Okay, so when you use any number which is less than 0, you're going to have a positive answer. So let's put positive there on this interval. Okay, After this, you can do the same. You use any number in this interval from 0 to 3. Use any number in this interval to test this interval. Okay, you are going to plug that number in there. So you can use 1, you plug 1 there, or you can use 2, you plug 2 there. When you use 1 or 2 or any number in this interval, you are going to see that the answer will be a negative answer. So you are going to get negative on this interval. You do the same. Use any number which is after 3 or any number which is greater than 3. You can use 4, 5, 6, 7, any number. So when you use any number which is greater than 3, you plug in there. Wherever you have x, you are going to get a positive answer. So this will be positive. Okay. Now you can see you only have negative on this interval from 0 to 3. And when you look at the inequality, this is less than 0. You know that less than 0 means negative. Okay, so this is the interval which is applicable because you have less than 0, which is negative, so you have negative there. Okay, and so you can write this as x greater than or equal to 0, x less than or equal to 3. Or you can give your answer like this: x element of this interval from 0 to 3. You make sure you have square brackets to show that 0 and 3 are included. If you put round bracket there, it means that 0 and 3 are not included. But if you have square bracket, it means that 0 and 3 are also included in the solution because you have equal there. Okay, so your answer can be given like this or like this. Just choose one. Give only one. You can give this one or this one. Okay, and we are done with question 1.1.3. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, let me get the question again. It's question 1 from May-June 2022. Okay, this is the question. So we are done with 1.1.3. Now it's 1.2. Okay, you are given this a plus 64 over a is equal to 16. 1.2.1, solve for a. Okay, so you have 1.2.1, you have to solve for a. You are given a plus 64 over a is equal to 16. 1.2.1, solve for a. Okay, you have to solve for a. So what can you do? You have to get rid of this a first. What you can do is to multiply by a throughout. When you multiply by a, this will be a square plus you multiply by a, the a there, and this a will cancel. You only have 64. This is equal to 16 times a. This is 16a, right? You multiply by a throughout so that you can get rid of this a in the denominator. Okay, so you have this. And this is a square. You bring this 16a to the left. Now you have negative 16a, right? Plus 64 is equal to 0. You only have 0 on the right side. Now from here, you can factorize this into two pairs of brackets like this. This is equal to 0. You have a squared there, so you have a times a. And now you have to get two numbers. When you multiply those two numbers, you must get what? 64. And if you add those two numbers, you must get what? Negative 16. So you know that 8 times 8 is 64. And from 8 and 8, you can get negative 16. If you have negative 8, you are going to get negative 16. So you have 8 and 8, right? 8 times 8 is 64. Now you have minus there and minus there. You know that minus 8 will give you minus 16. Okay? And you can see that you have a plus there. When you have a plus there, it means that the signs inside the bracket are going to be the same as what? As negative. Okay? And from here, you know that a minus 8 is equal to 0. And from here, you know that a is equal to, you take the negative 8 to the other side, a is equal to 8. Okay? You have solved for a. Let me draw a line here. Now we are solving question 1.2.2. Okay? 1.2.2. Hence, solve for x. Now you have 2 to the power of x plus 2 to the power of 6 minus x. You can see this is equal to 16. You have to solve for x, and this question is under 1.2. You can see it starts from there. Okay, let me leave this one here for now. So this is 2 to the power of x plus, you can write this as 2 to the power of 6 times 2 to the power of negative x. Can you see? When the bases are the same, you are going to add your exponent and get this. So I have changed this into this, and this is equal to 16. You carry on, you have 2 to the power of x plus 2 to the power of 6 over, you can bring this down to the denominator. This is 2 to the power of x instead of 2 to the power of negative x. Now you have 2 to the power of x when you bring it down, okay? And this is equal to 16. Can you see now? This looks like this. A plus 64 over A is equal to 16. You have 16 there. You have A there and A there. You have 2 to the power of x, 2 to the power of x. Can you see? You can carry on. This is 2 to the power of x plus, this is actually 64, right? 2 to the power of 6 is 64 over 2 to the power of x. This is equal to 16, okay? So 2 to the power of x is equal to a, right? And so 2 to the power of x is equal to your a, you calculated it, your a is equal to 8, okay? I can close this. So from 1.2.1, your a is equal to 8, okay? So 2 to the power of x is equal to a when you look at the question, and you know that a is equal to 8. And from here you have 2 to the power of x is equal to, this can be written as 2 to the power of 3. I want to have the same basis, okay? Now, when the bases are the same, you are going to equate your exponent. So x is equal to 3, okay? You have solved for this question. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, let me get the question again. Okay, question 1 from May, June 2022. Okay, so we are done with this question. Now it's 1.3. 1.3, without using a calculator, calculate the value of this. Okay, you have this. You can see this. This is what we are given, right? And this question is 4 marks. Okay, let me close this. You have to calculate without using a calculator. So you are given this. This is equal to, you have the square root. Can you see in the numerator, you have this 2 to the power of 1002 plus this 2 to the power of 1006. What is common in both? You have 2 to the power of 1002 in both. So you can factorize it outside of the bracket. You open a bracket. This is times 1, right? To get this, plus 2 to the power of what? 4. When you multiply this, the bases are the same. You are going to add your exponent, and this will be 1002 plus 4. You are going to get this 1006. Okay, so you can factorize it like this. This is over, you have 17 times the 2 to the power of 998, like this. Okay, so you carry on. This is square root of, can you see you have 2 to the power of 1002 and you have 2 to the power of 998. When the bases are the same and this is division, according to the law of exponent, this will be 2 to the power of this exponent minus this exponent. This is according to the law of exponent, right? This exponent minus this exponent, because the bases are the same and this is division. So this minus this is equal to 4. Now you have 2 to the power of 4 times, you have 1 plus, this is 16, right? Which is 17. 1 plus 16, it's 17 over this 17, okay? So this over this will give you 2 to the power of 4. You have 17 there and 17 there, okay? And so this 17 and this 17 will cancel. And you carry on. This is square root of 2 to the power of 4, okay? You carry on. This is 2 to the power of 4 to the power of 1 over 2, right? You change this square root sign into the exponent of 1 over 2, like this. And this is equal to 2 to the power of what? You take this exponent times this exponent. So you have 4 times a half, which is 2. and the final answer is 2 to the power of 2, which is 4, right? This is the final answer. Let's carry on. Let me put a line here. Now it's 1.4. Let me get the question again. This is the question. Now it's 1.4. So solve for x and y simultaneously. You have this 2x minus y, right, is equal to 2. This one, let's call this our first equation. And we have this 1 over x minus 3y is equal to 1. Let's call this our second equation, okay? So you have your first equation and your second equation, okay? You have to solve for x and y simultaneously. The question is 6 marks. Let me close this. So from this, you have to make x or y the subject of the formula. You can use equation 1 or equation 2. Let me use equation 1. This is simple. You can take negative y to the right side. You have now y is equal to 2x minus 2, right? You take the 2 to the left. You take the negative y to the right. So you have from equation 1, y, when you take the y to the right, y is equal to 2x. You take the 2 to the left, 2x minus 2, right? Y is equal to 2x minus 2. So this becomes our third equation, okay? So now from here, you have to take your equation number 3. You plug it into 2. Do not plug it into 1 because 3 is obtained from 1. You can't take it and plug it into 1. You have to plug it into 2, okay? So now 3 into 2, this is 2. You have 1 over x minus 3y. What is your y? This is your y. You substitute this in the place of y. So you have 3 times this, 2x minus 2. This is equal to 1, okay? You carry on. You now have 1 over x minus 6x. 3 times 2x, you have minus there. So it's minus 6x. You have minus 3 times negative 2. This is plus 6, okay? Minus 3 times negative 2. This is plus 6. And you have 1 on the right side. You bring it to the left. You have minus 1. This one. And this is equal to 0, okay? Now what you have to do is to get rid of this x. You can multiply by x throughout. When you multiply by x throughout, you multiply here by x, you have 1, minus, you multiply by x, you have 6x squared, plus 6x minus x is equal to 0. So you multiply by x throughout, you have this, okay? So now you have negative 6x squared. You have 6x minus x. This is 5x, right? Plus 1 is equal to 0. You multiply by negative 1 throughout so that you can have a positive coefficient. So this will be 6x squared minus 5x minus 1 is equal to 0. And from here, you can factorize this into this, like this. This is equal to 0. You have 6x squared there. You can have 6x times x, which will give you 6x squared. You have 1 there times another 1, which will give you 1. Now you have to get minus 6x and then plus x, right? Because you want to have x minus 6x so that you can have minus 5x, okay? So you can have plus there and minus there because you know 6x times this negative 1 will give you minus 6x. And then you have this will give you x. So you are going to have x minus 6x will give you this, okay? And then from here, x is equal to negative 1 over 6, right? X is equal to negative 1 over 6, okay? So this is your x. Or x is equal to 1, right? This is another x. And you can get your y using this. Y is equal to 2x minus 2. You plug this in there. Y is going to be equal to negative 7 over 3, right? This is your y. Or y is equal to, you take this x is equal to 1, you plug 1 there, so you are going to have y is equal to 0. Okay, so this is how you can solve this question from May, June 2022. Okay, we are done with this question. I hope the video is helpful. So if you find value in this video, please show that with your likes and comment in the comment section. Remember to subscribe and activate the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.